Hello, happy Friday. We made it to the end of week 4 of at-home learning, and I'm here today with some more of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's library. Today we are going to start with chapter 33. Let's put the 2 new cards on the table, said Charles. He and his so-called teammates, Andrew and Haley, Charles planned on dumping them both right before he made his glorious solo exit from the library, had scoured the library together for hours, looking for more book cover matches. Peckelman wasn't nearly as good with the Dewey Decimal System as he had claimed to be, and Charles needed someone to do that sort of thing for him. His father always hired tutors or research assistants for him whenever Charles had to do a major paper or report. Finally, around 6 in, coincidentally in the 600s room, they scored twice, finding T for You and Me, 641.3372, and Why Wait to Lose Weight, 613.2522. Now, their picture puzzle had only 4 blanks remaining. Okay, said Andrew. I think it's pretty clear. Woolly blank, walk up the skinny blank, house Indian, and 19 blank. Charles nodded and said, Interesting, even though he knew Peckelman was way off. Hello? Said Haley. That doesn't make any sense. Sure it does, said Andrew. No it doesn't. In his head, Charles had decoded the clues so far as you, a female sheep, blank, walk out the, T-H-E, way, blank, in past, blank. But out loud he said, I think we just need to tweak Andrew's translation a little. Fine, go ahead, I don't care. Andrew slumped down into his seat to sulk. How about she blank walks out the skinny blank house 500 and past blank. Where did you get she? Asked Haley. From sheep? The card you gave us. Actually, I think the sheep is supposed to represent you. Because you is a female sheep? Fascinating, said Charles. I didn't figure that out. What he did figure out was that Haley Daly was much smarter than he had assumed. She would be a serious threat, and no way was Charles sharing his prize with anybody, especially her. And how did you get 500 from Indiana? Simple. Indianapolis, the capital of Indiana, is home to a race known as the Indy 500. Okay, so how about you, blank, walk out the skinny blank in, because the Nancy Drew book was about an inn, 500 past, blank. Now Peckelman piped up. That makes more sense than what you said, Charles. Indeed, said Charles, sounding magnanimous. Perhaps the clues are telling us to locate a secret skinny passageway 500 paces past some landmark here in the library? Andrew was excited. This is like the pirate map from Treasure Island. Or, said Haley, maybe these clues are telling us we need to go out and find the 4 books we haven't found yet. We should split up. I'll go back to the 400s room. We've already been there, said Andrew. Well, you guys might have missed something. Good idea, said Charles. He figured if Haley Daly wasted time retracing steps he and Andrew had already taken, she would find nothing new and become less of a threat. Let's meet back here at, say, 7? Fine. Haley left the meeting room. Charles went to the door and closed it. You know what we really need, he said to Andrew. Chocolate milk and maybe some cookies? Charles shook his head. No, Andrew. We need whatever clues Kyle Keeley and his team have found, especially if they have our missing cards. Chapter 34. Veering left the instant she reached the 2nd floor, Haley made her way towards the 400s room. She figured that Charles and Andrew had probably missed something important in the foreign languages room because they'd spent too much time talking to these awesome mannequins that told them all about their American heritage. As she rounded the bend, Haley saw Kyle Keeley and his crew tumble out of the 200s room. It looked like Miguel was carrying a Bible, but a Bible wasn't one of the books on display in the staff picks case. We are following separate paths to the same goal, Haley thought, and somewhere those 2 paths are going to collide. Haley slid her card key down the reader slot in the 400 door. The lock clicked, and she pushed the door open. The room was dimly lit. Bienvenida, bienvenue, Witami, Kuakarabisha. Welcome, boomed a voice from the ceiling speakers. Sorry, said Haley, blindly feeling her way forward and bumping into something hard and lumpy. This is the 400s room, home of foreign languages. Here, Haley, you can learn all about your American heritage. A bank of spotlights thumped on. Haley was basically hugging a department store mannequin. An overhead projector beamed a movie onto the dummy to her left, turning it into a perky woman who looked like Haley would probably look a couple years after she graduated from college. Hello, Haley. Welcome to Your American Heritage. Let's begin our voyage. That's okay, I don't have time right now. I'm Haley Daly. My ancestors were Irish, okay? So can we skip the history lesson and... Suddenly, the two mannequins at the far end of the row turned into sepia-toned versions of her great-great-great-grandmother and great-great-great-grandfather. Haley knew it was them because her dad had a bunch of old photos hanging in their family room. The two dummies looked exactly like Patrick and Una Daly did in their wedding portrait. No man ever wore a scarf as warm as his daughter's arm around his neck, said Patrick in his thick Irish brogue. Your dad is proud of you, Haley. Thanks, but I really need to win this competition. Watch out for sneaky rascals, said Una, them that would steal the sugar out of your punch. Haley had to smile. It sounded like her ancestor had met Charles Chiltington. And always remember, Haley, said her great-great-great-grandfather, every woman's mind is her kingdom. Rule it wisely, lassie. I'm trying. This library can help, said her great-great-great-grandmother with a wink. And when she did, a secret panel in the wall slid open. What's going on? Said Haley. You're our third visitor, boomed a jolly announcer in the ceiling. So? According to the American Heritage Dictionary of Idioms, available in our reference department, by the way, the third time is a charm. Therefore, as our third visitor, you have won this charming bonus. 2 bonuses in one day? She was right. Mr. Lemoncello definitely wanted Haley Daly to win this game, because clearly he knew she'd be the perfect, best-looking spokesmodel for his holiday commercials. Don't worry, sir, Haley said to the nearest TV camera. I won't let you down. She hurried through the open wall panel and into the 300s room on the other side. Ta-da! The first thing she saw was one of the books they'd been searching for all day long. True Crime, Ohio, the Buckeye State's Most Notorious Brigands, Burglars, and Bandits, by Claire Taylor Winters. She quickly opened the cover and found the hidden 4x4 card. It took her 2 seconds to decipher the clue. Bandits. Haley remembered another bit of Irish wisdom, something her dad said all the time. Never bolt your door with a boiled carrot. She decided to keep this new clue secret and secure. She wouldn't share it with Charles or Andrew. Haley took off her left sneaker, folded the card in half, and slid the clue into her shoe for safekeeping. When her sneak was laced up tight again, she took the True Crime Ohio book off its display stand and tucked it into the bookshelf, making sure it was in the proper position, right between 364.1091 and 364.1093. That way, she'd know where to find it if, for whatever reason, she needed the book again. Haley looked up at the nearest camera and flashed at her brightest toothpaste commercial smile. Go Lemoncello! That's a cheer I just made up. We can use it in one of the commercials, after I win. Chapter 35. Entrance to Community Meeting Room B will only be granted to Kyle Keeley, Sierra Russell, Akimi Hughes, and Miguel Fernandez, said the soothing female voice in the ceiling after the 4 teammates had swiped their cards through the meeting room door's reader slot. This makes sense, said Akimi. We needed a place to organize all this material, put it on the walls, and draw a chart like the FBI always does on TV when they're tailing the mob. Stole the meeting room idea from me, eh, Keeley? Charles Chiltington was standing in the doorway to meeting room A on the far side of the rotunda. No, said Kyle. We just needed someplace to throw our victory party after we win. Not going to happen, Charles said smugly. Must I remind you? I'm a Chiltington. We never lose. And he disappeared back into meeting room A. After Charles was gone, Kyle led his team into meeting room B. Miguel posted the bank blueprints he had found up on the walls, while Sierra set up the Bibliomania game board on the conference table. I'm glad this room won't let anyone else in, said Kyle. And by anyone, you mean Charles Chiltington, right? Said Akimi. Totally. Akimi grabbed a marker and wrote a neat outline on the dry erase walls. Clues so far. Definite clues. 1. From the zeros room. Get to know your local library book. 2. From the art and artifacts room. Willy Wonka candy. Rhymes with Andy. Fine glass elevator. 3. From the 200s room. Bible verse. Thou shalt not steal. Probably clues. Books authors on the backs of library cards. Number 1, Miguel Fernandez. Incident at Hawks Hill by Alan W. Eckert. No David by David Shannon. Number 2, Akimi Hughes. One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish by Dr. Seuss. 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. Number 3, Unknown. Number 4, Bridget Wadge. Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing by Judy Blume. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Number 5, Sierra Russell. The Egypt Game by Zilpha Keatley Snyder. The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. Number 6, Yasmin Smith Snyder. Around the World in 80 Days by Jules Verne. The Yak Who Yelled Yuck by Carol Pugliano Martin. Number 7, Sean Keegan. Olivia by Ian Falconer. Unreal by Paul Jennings. Number 8, Unknown. Number 9, Rose Vermette. All of a Kind Family by Sidney Taylor. Scat by Carl Hyacin. Number 10, Kayla Corson. Anna to the Infinite Power by Mildred Ames. Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Number 11, Unknown. Number 12, Kyle Keeley. I Love You, Stinky Face by Lisa McCourt. The Napping House by Audrey Wood. Maybe clues? Statues ringed around the dome. Thomas Wolfe, Booker T. Washington, Stephen Sondheim, George Orwell, Lewis Carroll, Dr. Seuss, Maya Angelou, Shel Silverstein, Pseudonymous Bosch, Todd Strasser. Wow, said Akimi, stepping back to study the walls. What an incredible mess. Yeah, said Kyle. Okay, guys, there are 8 more book rooms to explore, and who knows how many more wild cards. Whose turn is it? Yours, said Sierra. Kyle flicked the spinner. Green, the 500s, science. He pulled the first green card from the deck. 4 and 20 were once in a pie. 598.367 might tell you why. Blackbirds? Said Miguel. I guess. Well, sighed Akimi, let's go check out another book. There's still like an inch or 2 left on our whiteboard. The 500s room was like a miniature museum of natural history. In addition to towering walls of books, there was a whole planetarium of stars and constellations projected on the ceiling. Models of planets whirled in their orbits. Sparkle-tailed comets shot around the corners of bookshelves. Kyle and his teammates made their way back to the 590s, zoology. Shelving units were arranged in a square around an open area, maybe 20 feet by 20 feet wide. When the team entered the empty space, the lights dimmed and a guy with long wavy hair, who looked like an artistic Daniel Boone, faded into view. He was wearing some kind of bear fur coat and toting a musket. Bonjour, said the hologram. It's John James Audubon, said Sierra, the famous ornithologist. He gives people braces? Asked Kyle. No, Sierra said with a laugh. He studied and painted birds. A black bird with a yellow beak flew into the open area and roosted on a tree branch. The bird and the tree were both holograms, too. This beautiful black bird from Alexandriaville, Ohio, said the semi-transparent Audubon image, can mimic in song the sounds it has heard. And the bird started wailing. Wow, said Akimi. That sounds exactly like a police siren. Yo, said Miguel, freaky. To learn more, said Audubon, be sure to read Bird Songs, Warbles, and Whistles, written by Dr. Diana Victoria Garcia, with classic illustrations by moi. With that, Audubon sat down on a camp stool. An easel appeared. The blackbird struck a pose, and the outdoorsy artist started painting the bird's portrait while humming Blackbird by the Beatles. Okay, said Kyle. This is the strangest clue yet. Well, here's the book at least, said Sierra, who had found 598.367 on the shelf. So what do a blackbird's wails and warbles have to do with finding our way out of the library? Said Akimi. Just then they heard a very different sound. Behind one of the bookcases, something growled, and then roared. Do you guys hear that? Said Sierra. Yeah, said Akimi. I don't think it's a robin redbreast. A very rare white Bengal tiger with icy blue eyeballs crept out from behind a wall of bookshelves and stalked into the open area where Audubon sat painting his bird portrait. Is that another hologram? Asked Miguel. Roar! No one stuck around to find out. And that's where we're going to stop for today and for this week. We have about 90 or so pages left of our book. So we might be able to finish it next week. Make sure that you come back to hear the rest. I hope you have an excellent weekend. And that you had an excellent 4 weeks so far of at-home learning. I'll see you back on Monday for more of Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library and more learning. All right. Have a good one.